G'day chaps, 'tis I, Clownpuncher139. The title just about says it all. Season 1, Episode 2 of Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League is a very minor improvement over Episode 1. The big difference is that we can actually play as the Twinkler now. Like I said back in the Episode 1 review, I really liked Joker, but didn't get any time to play as him before already finishing all the new content the game had. But now that I have some new content to explore as him, I finally get to see just what I was missing out on. And we were missing out on a fantastic friggin' character. Joker just flows so well in everything he does. Everything just feels right with him. He's like a weirdly perfect combination of Shark's rapid ascensions, Deadshot's traversal speed, Harley's hang time, and Boomerang's excellent weapon choice. And it all comes together to create my currently second favorite member of the squad. He just works. And with this good of a character as their first pack, I can only hope they'll keep it up for the next 3. Unlike Episode 1, they actually added a tiny bit of new content in this update. Huzzah! Was it actually any good? Maybe? It's certainly a step in the right direction for updates yet to come, showing that there is a possibility of a spark of creativity shining through every once in a while. The new mission type they added takes the base model of the hack missions, but adds in a fun new gimmick where you have to swap between dimensions to take on 2 different waves of enemies at the same time. This is such a fun concept that actually uses their multiversal gimmick to its advantage, and more importantly, adds something more than just running and gunning to the gameplay. It's not the absolute best gimmick in the world, and I will say that it doesn't feel like they ironed out all the kinks yet, but it's definitely a step in the right direction for the game going forward. They have a great gameplay loop on their hands, they just need to keep adding fun gimmicks like this to their levels to make them feel less repetitive. The incursion missions are the same as ever, with nothing particularly standoutish among the quote-unquote new missions. But the new Killing Time map was a lot of fun and felt much better designed than the previous one. I definitely think part of my less negative nature toward these missions is the fact that I only had to play them once before unlocking the Brainiac fight. Much like Episode 1, you do have to do a bit of grinding to unlock the Brainiac fight. But unlike the abhorrent level 35 that Episode 1 required, Episode 2 only requires you to reach level 10. Perfect for engaging with all the new missions, then jumping right in without any actual grinding necessary. I would say it feels like they listened to my exact reasoning when I made my Episode 1 review, but this is Warner Bros. We're talking about. They're just getting our hopes up for Season 2, only to give us the ultimate backhand when Mrs. Freeze makes her debut. I can only hope and pray that this is them actually listening, but I think we all know it isn't. I will say that for all the flack we've been giving the game for reusing the League members' fights for the Brainiac bosses, they're actually a lot harder than they were in the base game. Despite reusing the same base models for these fights, it's kinda worked in a weird way, because of how much they added on top of the fights. These Brainiac battles are a lot more chaotic than their base game counterparts, which in and of themselves were already really chaotic. They became genuinely difficult, and to that extent, enjoyable. I do really hope that we don't just get 10 more rehashes of the fights as we go forward, now that we've gone through all the main League fights, but I'm willing to look past these initial 3 because they did change things up enough for me to differentiate them from their original iterations. Look, for the love of God, just have Brainiac switch between League members for a fight so we can see more than one fighting style. Please, that would actually put the gimmick to use. And as for new story stuff, let's see... 5 minutes. That's it. We get 5 minutes of new story content. Less than 2 of which are actual cutscenes, all of which are dedicated to Brainiac, and the other 3 are relegated to another Origins Blackgate-style animation with a Joker monologue. If nothing else, this sequence gives us more evidence to the Justice League clone theory, which if you don't know is a big conspiracy that the League members we killed weren't the actual Justice League, but just clones created by Brainiac while the real ones are back on his ship. This cutscene all but confirms it, meaning it's only a matter of time before we get to hear Kevin Conroy again. Also, random side thing, but it took me until watching this cutscene to realize that Joker has a fake leg. I somehow just didn't notice that in my multiple hours of playing as him. Just wanted to point it out in case I wasn't the only one. And that's pretty much it. There is not much to talk about with Episode 2. I guess there's more Riddler stuff, but you don't really care about all that. Overall, I'm willing to call this episode a very, and I do mean very, minor success. They took my grievances with episode 1, somewhat addressed them, and at least looked like they tried to do something. It's a step in the right direction that I desperately hope they keep pushing towards, because it shows that there's at least a bit of competence behind the scenes that just needs a little push to get out there. They got the ball rolling on improving mission variety. They created a damn fun character that I actually got to use this time, and they removed the stupid grind session to unlock the only story content they added. If they can keep this up and continue listening to the people paying their bills, we could see something great in the coming seasons. I mean, we won't because this is WB we're talking about, but come on, a guy can hope, right? With all that said, do all the YouTube stuff, because Twinkler is an influencer confirmed. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you later, chaps.
Ah!